So last time we created this dummy JSON in the React components, and we called that in our container. In the container, we called it. So whenever you call the component in the macro front end, you have to use react.lazy, and you also have to wrap it uh, in the suspense, which we have not done it, but we will do it soon. So, so we call this dummy app from the React component dummy app. So this container should have minimum logic because you will be calling this different folders in the different containers. So try to put only the logic of the container in the container, otherwise all the logic will lie in the respective components kind of thing. But there will be some logic which will be in the container. So we will go through exercise on the now. Just now we created a dummy app, and I want you to, I will do one, and I want you to do similarly three, four kind of, this component which we have to import it and use it in the container. Right now I'm just using it in container, but then I will remove it from container and put in an appropriate folder like auth or dashboard or any other folder. So if we go to this material UI, so we have lot of components here already. I can directly use each component text field here, but the problem will be tomorrow if I want to move from material UI to bootstrap UI or other thing, then then I may have to I may have to uh, rewrite it everywhere where I have used a text field. So what I will be planning to do, I will be putting all these components which are there in material UI in the React components, and tomorrow from material UI I have to change to bootstrap UI or the new one which is coming. I will just update in the React components, and all our folders will be okay. We don't have to call it again and again, change again and again. So let's see, first form which we will be building for our website is registration. So for the registration, what fields which we need? We need username. For example, this is the username. So this is simple text box. We may need the gender. Okay, gender maybe it is male or female. It can be select box, female, or it can be if I have website with a group, so it can be groups. If I have website with different couples, so it will be couple or any other which I want to add it. I can use gender. So I want this select box. I want this text box. These two things at least I need. From then maybe I need the checkbox, radio button, few other things we need it, and we will be putting all this in the React components. So in the React component right now I have dummy.js. So let's try to integrate now the text field. For text field, I will name it as input box.js, and I will be putting this text field in that one. So let me put this text field here. So let's try to put it. Yeah, let's try to copy these two lines, and I will put it here, two lines, and then I will use only one text box here. Okay, so let's put only one, and I will delete two others. So it's saying width of 2h, or I will not use box. I don't prefer box. I will use simple div. Just remove the box and I'll put just a simple div. Yeah, box. We can use box also. Um, my personal preference is just put div. So now this is my text field. I will call this text field in my container for now, but then I will move it to auth kind of thing. But for now, since we are on the component, it's easy to test it on the component. So here I will call it as input box, and then I will call it input box. Since I want to import input box from React component, we build the input box, but we have to export it. So how will I export it? I will go to webpack.dev. Like I had dummy, I will copy it. I will put it as input box, and it will go to components input box. So I'm exposing input box from my React component, and I will import that in the container. Container we don't have to import, we already imported this React component. So everything from React components will come here. Okay, we don't need to import again. Only we have to export it here, and then we can call it here input box. I will check it if it is working fine. We'll call it input box here. So for that, I will restart the a component, and we'll start the server. Yarn start for a component. Sorry. And then I'll go to the container also and start the yarn start. So here you see I have this textbook coming in here. Okay, though layout is not perfect, but at least I am getting this text box here. I will put in the document. I will put in the document once I am done with this part, because still I have to do some changes. So what we did, we just added the text field, and now we will be adding different parts, like like this variant is outline, filled, or standard. So this should be props. I can change this to outline, or I can change this to filled or standard from the different component. So we will make this as a props. So let's try to make this as a props. Okay, before I change this to props, I want you to integrate this text box yourself in your computer. So let me put it in the document. This is the third. So this is the third number. Let's try to make number 4 for today. I will make one more for today. So I will say it is continuation from part 3. So you have to first complete the part 3, then come here. So what we have to do, create input box in React components folder. And what will be the code for it? This one is the code. And then expose this input box in webpack.dev.js and webpack.prod.js. So we'll go to webpack and we will expose this like this. So this we have to do in both dev and prod. In prod also we have to expose it. Okay, so we have to expose it and then call this input box in any other folder like container. So once we have this input box, I will go to the app.js of the container. I will go to app.js container and I will put this code here, call the input box here. Is that clear? So just do these steps and then we will try to pass the props. Let me give you the link. So first, you have to start the first you have to start the React component. You're saying what you're getting. Yeah, first you have to start the React component and then you have to start the container. So it is giving error of dummy app because you might have not started the React component. So first in the terminal, first start this one, React component, then start the container. Let me know once you're done with the input box, then we'll try to modify this input box. Okay, so before I take a look, just try to make sure you have a remote React component in the container like this. The port should match with your React component, and in the React component, try to match this expose. It should be proper, and that's it. That's it. If everything is same like I have shown you, then still you get error. Then I'll take a look. So since your error is 4001, so that means your React component should run in 4001. So is it running in 4001 or 400? So it will just match the port. See here I am using 4002 because my React component is running at 4002. Your error is showing 4001. So you have to make sure your React component is running at 4001 and container is running at different port. Okay, so if still you feel this error, let's show the screen. Let me take a look. Okay, so your container is running at 400 and React component is running at 4001. Go down. So you're exposing dummy app. Okay, go to container webpack. Okay, so you're running React components 400 remote entry.js. Okay, go back again to React component webpack. Yeah, let me see this one. We go to 4001. See your plugin name. What is the plugin name here? It's auth name. Check the name. So you have to change it to the whatever you're calling. So you have to call it as a React components. Small letter, all small letter React components. Okay, now check this name in the save it as file. Check this React components in the container webpack. There, it's React components. Yeah, right. So in the line number 26, you have to say not the key value, not the key. value. Value is real component. It's correct, right? Now it's correct. Now change the name to container. Here change the name to container because this is container. Up, 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 up. No, 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 no. Okay. Yeah. So because you were calling real components and it was name was auth, so it was now restart first your container. Yeah, you cannot delete it. You cannot delete it. It runs sometimes in the background. You have to control C and you have to do control C. Don't try to don't try to uh, delete that terminal. Next time try to do control C. Come out of the yarn and restart it. Because if sometime the port is already started, it didn't close, and then see it's working now. Okay. So before I go further, just try to see if you can uh, just finish the input box. Okay, I gave this link to you. Just try to finish the input box, then we'll go further. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, I am back. It's working, right? Input box. Hope you have completed input box also. Now let's try to change the properties of the input box. So I'll close all the unnecessary files. Okay, input box. So what first we need to change? We need to change the variant because sometimes I want outline, sometimes I want the standard, sometimes I want filled. I should be able to pass it from as a props. So let's try to pass as a props. So what are the different kinds of variant? One is outline, filled, or standard. Okay, so here I will pass as a props as a variant, and this variant will come here as variant. So this variant will come here as a variant, and I have to pass this variant in my apps. So I will pass this variant as props in the app. So it can be, let's say I'm passing it as a field. Okay, so field should go there and now it should show as a field. See, now it's coming as a field. So name is outlined, but this is coming as a field. If I pass as a standard, so now this is a standard. We can also make it as a default value. Let's say if I don't pass anything, so it's giving some kind of error. So I'll just say in my input box, if nothing is passed, it should be equal to outlined. Okay. Okay, it's not taking equal. And let me check what is. Okay, if I'm passing something, it's going here as a variant. If I'm not passing anything, and let me do what I'm getting here. So, okay, I'm not getting any variant, and it is expecting one of the three. So if I put here as a standard, let's see. No, this is not right actually. This is not right. Okay, 1 second. Let me check what is the right way. 1 second. Yeah, we use equal sign. Yeah, we use equal sign. Now, why variant is missing in the props? Okay, here I'm not getting variant. Okay, because I'm passing it. So we can pass the standard. If nothing is passed, then it will take default as a standard. See, now it's taking standard. But if I'm passing something empty, I'm passing it empty, then it does not take the default one, which is a standard. So we can fix it by putting here or standard. Also, this will fix it, but I don't want this one. See, this is fixing it, but I don't want this one. So I will be asking this to let them pass it. If it is not passed, then I will make it standard. So we have to pass it. We cannot pass empty. We can pass either filled or standard or whatever we have. Okay, so we are passing right now filled. Let's put another parameter. Now the label, what label you want to show. Let's try to pass a label also here. And I will pass here as a label. So here will be the label. So label will be, for example, I have the first name. So first name, we're getting first name. Whatever label I'm passing, I'm getting here. I'm getting that here in the input box. Next is ID. I don't need ID right now. I will delete the ID. Let's try to add few more fields from the material UI. Let's see what other fields we can pass, whether required or not. So next is the required. So I will pass one parameter as a required, which will be by default false, and label will be by default empty string, and here I will say required equal to required, whether it's a required or not. If I pass required as a true, then if user will not pass it, then it will not proceed. Next is disabled. Sometimes we have to disable the field. So let's pass disabled equal to disabled. I will pass this as also props. So here I will pass the disabled equal to, by default it will be false. So all this parameter, we also have to put the props validation. And if we are doing the TypeScript, then we don't need props validation. It does in the TypeScript. But since this is a JavaScript, we need the props validation, which I will not take now because we already did props validation and we will do it sometime later, but not immediate. Okay, disabled. What other parameters we have to pass? Type. It can be password or text or search or whatever it is. So let's pass the type also. So here I will pass type. So type can be, so if you see what are the different types of type, HTML input types. So what are the different types for input box? We can have any of this type, password, hidden, file, email, text. So by default, we'll keep it as a text. Otherwise, you can pass any of these types. Okay, so we can go and use any of the types. If you think it is a search, you can use the search, telephone, time, URL, week, whatever you want, you can pass it. So by default, it will be text. What are the things we have to pass? This autocomplete is something we'll not take care of it now, but we can add it later. Next is we'll not use the default value. We'll be using the value because we will be using controlled input box. This default value is used when we don't want to use controlled. We want to use uncontrolled form of field. Then we use default one. Next, what next? Okay, let's see what more we can. Okay, helper text. Let's put some helper text. If something helper text is there, then we can add the helper text. So here I will also pass the helper text. Helper text will be like this one. So if I pass the helper text here, hello world, then you will see that helper text there. See this hello world. Can you see this helper text? This is the helper text which comes below the text field. If I don't want to show helper text, I'll just ignore it. I don't want to save it. Then nothing will come here. So next is helper text. What else we can pass? We can make it read only by passing this one if I want. This is a read only. This is a read only. Yeah, I'm trying to add some more values. Now this is the error part. Let's try to see. Let's try to see what error part we can show. So if I make this error as a true and then helper text, then helper text will become in the red color. So if I have error, I have to make error as a true or false, and also I have to pass the helper text. So for example, I will also make one more parameter error as error. So this error should be true or false. Initially, I will make error as a false by default. And here I can pass error as a true. So let's see what it shows. If I pass only error true, you see it's in the red color. And if I want to give some error message also, I will put helper text equal to failed invalidate. So with error true, I give the error message here. So if there is error, you have to pass the helper text to show that error message, or you can pass as a false. Okay, so I'm just passing the false. So if we can pass error and helper text to show both. This is a multi-line. Multi-line, I will not use it in this input box. I will create another for text area as a multi-line because there are some parameters which get confused between both of them. So I don't want to get confused between the two. So though we will be using text field only, but as a separate component for this multi-line. Now select is, this select is also, we can, yeah, we can use it. Let's see what is saying. I don't want to overcomplicate this with select also now. Icon on the left side, icon on the right side. So this is on the left side, this is on the right side. Let's try to do that one. Like password, you can enable or show the password also. We will add this thing later, not needed now. Okay, yeah, that's all. There are two more things which I need. One is value. What will be the value? And another will be on change. What should happen on change? So maybe I can call two function. I will call the one function on change. By default, it will be just a normal function, and the value will be right now empty. These two things I have to pass it from my app. So here I will use, let's say, name, state name. I will create a state variable with empty one, and I will pass this name as a value equal to name. So this name will go as a value, and on change I will pass this function set name. Okay, so whenever there will be change, set name will be called and name will be changed, and it will show it in this value. So let's try to pass it. Okay, so something is not right because because we have to manually do some things there. Okay, so let's do something. First, I will check the name. What name is coming? Okay, let's see what it gets updated. Okay, name is getting updated with some kind of this thing, not exactly the target dot value which I want. So though I'm passing on change as a set name, so what we have to do when someone will try to change this value, when someone will try to change this value, we will get event, and if I want to see exact value, it will be console.log e. It will be e dot target dot value, right? So it will be this one. This part we have to pass to the set name. Okay. So first let's see what it is coming. So it is coming value d, and then what we will do once I get this value, I will call on change with e dot target dot value. We don't want to pass complete e. We will only pass the e dot target dot value to the on change. This on change is coming from the this one. Okay, so this set name is going as on change, and whenever I call this on change, I call this one. Still, there's some naming mismatch. So instead of on change, let me use handle change. Okay, I will not confuse with the real one. So let's use the handle change. On the change, we call the set name. And whenever there is a change, I will call the handle change with e dot target dot value. So now, if I call it, you will see name is going e dot target dot value. Okay, so we did most of the part here, and now I will update this component in the document. I'll say update the app.js as, I'll update the app.js as with this one, and update the input box as, so I'll update the input box with this one. So this is, you can go through it and try to integrate it as I'm talking. You can side by side integrate what I have put it here. So this is our text field. One more thing I needed, I missed it. That is the full width. Right now it's taking the limited width. I wanted to take the full width. So I'll add one more parameter, full width equal to, initially it will be false unless you pass it as a true. And here I'll say full width equal to full width. And here I will pass the full width equal to true. So if I pass the full width equal to true, see it taking the whole of the space. So let me update the document. And let me update this also. Okay, so I updated both the things in the document. So what we did, we only build the input box. Right now, we only build the input box. We have to build everything one by one as we go along so that anything I can use it directly without any problem. Yes, so this is all we have to take it. So we will be building all of this one soon, and something I will give you at home. You can do it at your home. So today we build the input box. I also want to build the text area. So maybe at home after this class, you can try to build another component with a multi-line. property and see if you can use it in the container. Okay, now let's build our registration form, which I will be building our registration form, which we will be building in our auth container. This is the auth container. So everything registration will be putting in the auth folder. Though here for example purpose, I put it in the app.js of the container, but we will be building it in the auth container. So this is something you have to do it at home after this class. I will just build it, and then if any of the component is missing, you have to build it in the React components folder and use it in right now, put it in the container only what we did it, but we will move it to auth folder next time. So like input box, you have to build a registration form. I will show you how the registration form will look like. You have to build it yourself, and all the components should come from the React components. So this is the registration form. So first thing I need is the first name. Another thing, you can go by line. I will just putting it here. Second thing is I want last name. Next is I want username. Next thing I want email. So these are the things which will not change. These are the really tied to the person who is coming to our website. Generally, username will be fixed. First name, last name will be fixed. Email will be fixed. Then there will be gender. This will be the select box where you can choose male, female, group, couple, or whatever we want to add it, we can add it. Then we want marital status. Marital status generally remain same, but it changes once or twice in lifetime. So we can also put marital status. Then I also want date of birth. Date of birth never changes. So we will put the date of birth. You can use the date time picker, which we have here. So you can build a separate component in React components about the date time picker, like this one, date time picker, you can put it. So they show how to. So generally you can use different way of date time library. I generally use moment library. So you have to go through and see how to do it. I will do it next time or whenever I get time for date time picker, but it's a good exercise. You can go through this one, how to include the date time picker kind of thing. So generally they use different technology for this one, like they're using day.js. Instead of day.js, you can also use moment.js. Okay, so I generally prefer moment, so I don't use these three things. I use moment.js, but you are free to use anything we want. Okay, so you can use, I prefer moment.js. Okay, so when I'll show you moment one. So we don't have to go to pro, it will just stick with the normal date picker. Okay, so what else we need? We need the date of birth, and also we need time of birth. Maybe it's optional, but sometime I want to make horoscope of a person, horoscope. Then I need this time of birth also. And I generally try to integrate this horoscope in every application. So it's better to get the time of birth also. And also I need the place of birth. Place of birth. So you don't need to put place of birth. This is optional. I generally put it in my website. And here I can give the Google locator to put the place of birth. So Google will automatically uh, take your place. Okay, so any other thing you can add it. Maybe one more thing we can add is about us, about me. It will be text area, what you want to tell about me. Let's say if we are making some dating app, so you have to tell about yourself. Another thing which I want to add is picture upload. So just now, just put it this text kind of thing. We will do this picture upload together. So user can upload his pictures. Okay, so he can we can show that on his page, profile page, or any other thing. So consider we are making some kind of dating website where we need all this information. And then what we can do, we can have user one and user two. We can also integrate horoscope part of it, and then we can match the horoscope also each other, whether they are compatible or not. And we can add a lot of interactions later in the website. This registration will be common to all, whether we are making dating app or whether we're making job website or any other website. This registration will be common to all. Okay, so the task is you have to build this kind of fields. Right now, put all the fields in the container since we are in the container right now. But later on, we will move this to the auth folder next time, so that it is easy to be maintainable. Container will not have all this information, but for testing purpose, you can put in container. Then we'll move to the auth. Now, what we are doing here, if you see, we are building different components which are self-sufficient. It should not be dependent. This should not be dependent on the other other folders kind of thing, because I'm calling input box separately in my container. But what if I have to call this whole auth as a container, whole auth as a folder inside the container. When I will be calling auth, I will not call individual files to the container. Right now with React components, what we are doing, we are building individual React components and calling individual components in my container. There is another thing that I want to call the whole auth folder inside the container. So two things you have to remember when we are building the micro front end. So first thing is we created a React component and we build the input box. We will build the text area. We will build the radio button. We'll build the checkbox button. And in the container or in the auth folder, we will call individual part, like here this or this or this or this in the auth folder or in the container. But when we build the auth folder, it will have the login page, it will have the logout page, it will have the registration page. And in the container, it is optional. I can call login page separately. I can call a registration page separately. I can call logout page separately. But also, I want the capability to call this whole auth folder directly into the container. So two things we have to learn. One is call the individual item, which we are doing it right now. Just now we did the input box. But another thing will be we have to call the complete folder into the container. So this part we will see how to do that some other time, not today, but we have to see this time also. Let me ask you one thing. This is a container and this is the auth. In auth we have login. In auth we have logout, and there can be many pages. It can be 5 page or 100 pages, and I will call this auth component inside the container. Okay, so container has its own routing and auth is its own routing. This auth routing will go to login, logout, the registration, some other pages, and container route will go to auth folder, or it can go to another dashboard folder, which will be another folder which we will build, or it can go to the gallery folder, which will be another gallery folder we can build. So the challenge will be how to manage this route with the route which we have in the auth. So this is a little challenging part of routing communication between the container and the auth. Sometimes people don't like the challenge which we have to do with the route of auth and route of container. So what they do, they make the routing only in the container and call this individual pages to the container with different route. So that is a simple solution, easy solution which we can do. But if each one has different routing, then things get challenging and it becomes very complex code. But it's a bootstrap code. Once you do it, you have to just copy paste all other places. So only one time we have to invest time in that, and then rest every time you have to just copy paste and things will become easy. So the first part, I will not go to this two route separately right now till we get that understanding how we are trying to do it. Right now we will uh, make individual pages and call it in the container for time being once we move to the routing of individual. So the things will become clear soon when we reach to that point. So now don't worry about too much thing right now. Just try to build this registration form. You can build this registration form in the container only right now. And next time I will move it to the auth folder. If you have not done anything, you don't get time, then I will do registration next time directly in the auth folder. And we will call that auth folder into the container. Any question?